What's up, y'all? Peace. How y'all doing? Chakra King Black 4197. Thank you so much for the super chat. It's just such a beautiful thing to, once I sit down and get myself settled and come on and go live officially, as far as you guys being able to see me, and then to have an offering on the table. You know what I mean? This is how I feel like goddesses should be received everywhere. So thank you so much for that. Peace and love. What's good? How y'all doing? Today is Wednesday, August 12th, 2026. I pray this message reaches you all in the best of health, spirit, and mind. Please forgive me for being tardy to the party. I said I was going to go live at 6:30. It's 6:53 Pacific Standard Time. And then I think I've had you guys waiting for like 7 or 8 minutes. I get in this mad scientist mode, and then I have to like totally edit myself down at the last minute. So this presentation, I'll say, of Headline News episode 78, this is just like 1/3 of what I have put together for this episode. So I chopped it down and took some of the stuff out, and I'm going to do those in a separate video, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But let me tap in with you guys in the chat room real quick. What's good? How are y'all doing? Thank you so much for joining me on this evening. It's a great time on the West Coast. It's a little late on the East Coast, so definitely sending love to my people in Atlanta, in New York. Walaikum salam, Brother Jamil. How are you doing, King? Very happy to see you in my chat room. Shantana, peace, love, and hair grease. What's good? Peace, Joaquin. How you doing? Very happy to have you here with us. DJ V, the Blissful Wizard 624 in my Prince of King voice. I am happy to be here. I'm happy to have you. Let me remove this real quick. What's up, Joseph? Peace and love. How you doing? Tony, what's good? Very happy to have you here. Blue 888 Hertz. That's how I'm saying that in my mind's eye, at least. But very happy to have you. Joaquin Martinez, what's good? Peace and love. Peace to all of my tribe and all of my beautiful people that are tuned in. Please make sure you guys like this video. I have a wonderful presentation of information and knowledge and consciousness. Let me tell you guys what the specific topics that we're going to talk about today, and then I'm going to tell you why I had to nail it down, because altogether I have, just in this particular episode, I think it's 38 slides, give or take, because there's a few at the end that I switched around. So probably like 33, 34 slides, right? And I took half of it out. So the Jay-Z Rock Nation aspect that I said I was going to talk about, I took that out. I'm going to have to do that separately because it was a lot going on and a lot to talk about. I have some parts of the LeBron James conversation at the end, but I'm also going to do that separately with that one when I get more into the boule. And then the Kobe Bryant connection, and then also Big U and Nipsey Hussle. I had to separate those because the things that I'm going to talk about specifically today are all kind of in the same wheelhouse. So Perez Hilton, Sydney Starr, Young Pharaoh, what does that say? Trans dolls, and a couple of other things that are relative to the inverted sexual energy and this overt satanic, if you will. I was listening to a video the other day, and this sister was talking about the fact that Satan doesn't exist, and very specific about, certain things that we all kind of talk about, demons and Satan and evil and whatnot. And the thing is that Satan, or what we consider to be satanic or evil, is a frequency, right? It's a bandwidth of consciousness. And the thing that was so critical about the movie The Matrix, with the concept of Agent Smith and this idea that this energy or this program or this frequency can take over anybody at any time, right? And what kept you from being able to be taken over by Agent Smith at any time, right, is a very critical sort of parallel reality that the conscious ones among us are sort of navigating right now. So I'm going to get into all of that. Again, I kind of separated these subjects so that I could hone in on one specific thing I want to talk about in particular. And then when I do the second half of this, or however that ends up playing out, because I have all that stuff, that other stuff. Let me see. I read this list off the other day. Yeah, I'm not going to read it again. But and then I also have a separate aspect of this that I haven't even read to you guys. So I'll get to it in these next couple of days. But for today, I wanted to specifically hone in on these things that are happening, in social media, in trending topics. Shout out to everybody who's just now tuning in. Peace and love, Amina Muhammad. How you doing, sis? Happy to have you, Saucy Santana, and the kids comment quiet in the creek. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that briefly. Oh yeah, thank you for asking that, Malik. My plug wasn't connected to my laptop, and when I realized it was when I realized that my battery was low. So I turned the computer off, and not the computer, the video off, and then I reached down to plug back in the power cord, and my computer shut down. It was completely dead. So that's my bad, but I started to come back on live real quick and just like let you guys know what happened, but I was like, nah, I said a lot. I think I was live for more than an hour at that point. So I said enough, and hopefully I said something of value and substance. But anyway, I'm glad you guys were with me last night to have that conversation, sort of like an opening to what we're going to talk about today. I have a couple of announcements. My next book club meeting is this Saturday, August the 15th. I haven't posted the link yet, but I will post that in both membership channels. I have a link in the description for 50% off my one-on-one consultations. I will no longer be offering that service after August of 2026. So if you would like to get my assistance or vantage point, or use me as a sounding board, or ideas that you want to bring to life, a business you want to launch, a relationship you need to leave, whatever it is. Like I'm really good at helping people get clear. And again, August 2026 is going to be the last time that I'm going to be offering this service for the foreseeable future. Also, my website information is in the description. The link to Design Your Life workshop, the monthly workshop that I'm doing, as well as my Cash App information, and all Cash App, all love, all reciprocity, all super chats are greatly appreciated. So let's get into the subject, and I'll try to tap back in with you guys in the live, kind of go back in the chat room, kind of go back and forth. But once I get into this, I know I don't want to, the chat room sometimes will distract me from the points that I'm trying to make. So I'll try to tap in with you guys periodically during this conversation. And again, please like this video. For those of you guys just now tuning in, I'm very happy to have you. This is Headline News with Zaza Ali. This is a news segment highlighting local, national, and global events, particularly those being censored by mainstream media. Headline News with Zaza Ali airs bi-weekly exclusively on the Zaza Ali membership channel. And that is totally my bad, because I did not even notify my membership channel that I am live. I am so out of pocket right now. Hold on, stop the presses. I need to tend to that immediately. So give me like 30 seconds. That's hella funny that I'm like advertising my membership channel and I ain't even handle my membership business. So let me share this real quick. But there's also a link in the description as I'm doing this, where you can sign up for an annual pass for access to my membership channel as well. So let me just let my people know. I didn't even notify Instagram either. I'm tripping. Sometimes I get so focused on the information, I really be in kind of a zone and then forget to handle the business. Headline News, episode 78, live on YouTube, come through, and then click the link. All right, cool. I was saying before I got off track that I'm not going to be monitoring the chat room as much as I normally would. So you guys, please hold me down. And hold on. Damn it. Hang on. Un momento, por favor. I can't believe I didn't. I actually like had my whole time set up where I would have all this stuff done by the time I went live. So that is totally my bad. But I gotta let my people know, you know? All right, and now let me let Instagram and Facebook know. Thank you guys for your patience. I have a great lineup of information and content for you guys. So just hold your horses. You will not. You will be. You will appreciate this conversation that we're going to have today, because a lot of weird shit going on in the world right now. And I just want to be here to be a reflection of the weird shit that's not happening in the world. You know. One more thing. All right, cool. So again, I'm not going to be monitoring the chat room as much because this is my official episode, my headline news episodes, right? So y'all hold me down in the chat room just in case there's any type of weird energy, which we don't expect. We're expecting all love because we came in love, right? And uh, we're here to share in consciousness and to talk about the things going on in the world, but to do so with love. But again, this is my bi-weekly episode of Headline News with Zaza Ali. This is going to be part one of this entertainment edition that part one is probably going to be, I don't know if part two is only going to be on my membership channel yet. I need to figure that out. I need to see how long it's going to be. But a reminder to everybody, this is my website. Hold on, because I don't plug it enough, right? This is my website where you can go and get information about workshops and courses, on-demand content. I have a whole library of information. I haven't updated my on-demand content in a while, but I do offer videos on demand there. And then also just different, my books. I am a 7-time self-published author. Information on how to sign up for my membership channel. All of my contact information is all there. And so this is just, if you click it, membership site, all of the things. And then again, there's a link in the description to save 50 or to get an annual pass to my membership channel for $55. So with that being said, I want to start out. Let me turn my frequency music back on real quick. Peace, Darlene. What's good? How you doing, sis? So I want to start again. This is a patent that I've shown in a few of my videos lately, but I want to reiterate this again because, we're starting to see a high amount of psychosis and people's minds are collapsing. And people are not able to mentally sustain themselves in this world. And because we all have access to social media, what would normally be one person's, personal experience in their life during a breakdown or during a mental breakdown, what would normally be just that one person's experience now has the power and the capability of magnifying to where one person does something crazy and outrageous online and that shit ripples and has an effect on hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, right? I think that the algorithm and that AI, there is a very dark version of what that technology is doing. And we kind of laugh it off and talk about or dismiss, the whole idea of trolls, right? And bots, but even that, it's like, why would somebody train a bot to come in a conversation and kick up dust or to, start shit or to say something that's going to provoke a lower vibrational energy, right? And so we're talking about through the digital realms and these digital spaces, these people are continuing to harness energy. And so I've shown this particular patent several times because I think this is one of the utilities that they are using to literally make people lose their minds. The nervous system manipulation by electromagnetic fields for monitors. By the way, if you're just joining in, please make sure you like this video. Thank you so much for being here. All due respect, I think there is a typo in your oh yeah, there's definitely a typo. Let me see if I can fix that right now. Thank you for that. Can I change it while I'm live? Yes, I can. Okay. We can't get the most basic things wrong, right? Thank you. Hold on one second, y'all. Okay, there we go. See if I can change that. And if it'll go live immediately. Okay, yes, it's fixed. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, and that'll help me with the algorithm as well. So, what was I saying? The amount of access, the amount of time, the amount of energy that all of us are spending on social media, on the internet, on the phones, right? Especially young people. And I think there's something too. I really want to start looking into these teen takeovers. I know I keep mentioning it, but the teen takeovers, what just happened in Spain and Morocco, I think there is definitely an element of that tied to this. So we're talking about using one of the ways, not the only ways, but one of the ways is using the electromagnetic field from monitors and from this technology in order to impact people's behavior and impact, you know, their electromagnetic fields as well. Physiological effects have been observed in a human subject in response to stimulation of the skin with weak electromagnetic fields that are pulsed with certain frequencies near half hertz or 2.4 hertz, such as to excite a sensory resonance. Many computer monitors and TV tubes, when displaying pulsed images, emit pulsed electromagnetic fields of sufficient amplitudes to cause such excitation. It is therefore possible to manipulate the nervous system of a subject by pulsing images displayed on a nearby computer monitor or TV set. For the latter, the image pulsing may be embedded in the program material. How is my sound, you guys? Pardon me, I didn't even ask, and I just stopped in the middle of me reading. I have this frequency music in the background. I didn't even think about that, but let me know if my sound is okay. You guys can hear me clearly as I'm reading with my frequency music in the background. For the latter, the image pulsing may be embedded in the program material, or it may be overlaid by modulating a video stream, either as an RF signal or as a video signal. The image displayed on a computer monitor may be pulsed effectively by a simple computer program. For certain monitors, pulsed electromagnetic fields capable of exciting sensory resonances in nearby subjects may be generated even as the displayed images are pulsed with subliminal intensity. So we're talking about using phone monitors, using computer monitors, using screens, as well as TV monitors, because that's all the TVs are now, really, is larger versions of computer monitors, right? Or regular monitors. Pulsing images and adding modulating overlaid content overlaid by a modulating video stream, meaning you can't even see it, but it's there. This is what they're. Okay, so hold on. I want to introduce this. So this is Black Dot and his son from Urban X TV podcast that I listen to all the time. And I want to play to start out because I'm getting ready to get into this Perez Hilton, Sydney Starr, and this trans energy and the popularization of the transgender community and the bigger picture in that, right? And so Black Dot is speaking about, he's transitioning from talking about Roland Martin, and you guys can go and watch this whole video and listen to the whole thing. But he's transitioning from talking about Roland Martin into talking about Perez Hilton. So what he's getting ready to say right now, just to kind of announce it so that you're prepared, is he's talking about what happens when the and just pause and bear with me here. What happens when the male, anus is penetrated, and the sexual proclivities of that, or not the sexual proclivities, but the spiritual ramifications of that. And so he's tying that into potentially the situation with Roland Martin. I don't remember. I watched the whole video, but I'm pretty sure that was the segue, right? It was supposed to be a controversy with a woman exhorting him, but allegedly there is a controversy behind the scenes with something to do with him dealing with men. And then Black Dot is basically talking about how the powers that be, right, in that world, in that system, use sodomy as a means of basically breaking a man and taking his manhood, and then he'll forever be your slave to a certain extent, right? So he's making some really good points about the energy vessels and the portals being open through certain types of sexual energy. So the first video is like 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. I hope I don't get a strike for this. I probably won't be able to monetize this video, but I hope I don't get a strike, because I'm definitely promoting you guys' content because I love your show. If you're just now tuning in, please make sure you like this video. Very happy to have you here. This is Headline News episode 78. We're just getting started. And Black Dot is going to kind of introduce us to the conversation about inverting sexual energy in the Sodom and Gomorrah type of frequency, if that makes sense. So I need to announce that. Otherwise, when he starts talking, you'll be like, what the hell? But he's dropping gems in what he's saying, and it's 100% relevant to what's happening in the industry today.
You're into. Now, I'm going to get technical and I'm going to get weird. So hold on. All right. Because when we start talking about Perez Hilton and demonic possession, it's all going to line up. Right? Okay. So, the butthole. All right? There's a man G-spot. Let's just keep it what it is. In the butthole. Now, when that is penetrated, there's going to be some rupture and all of that kind of stuff. It sends you into an open space. Now, your soul, when they say sell your soul, you can't sell what God gave you, right? Mm-hmm. But your body, your avatar, right, mm-hmm. can be used for whatever. So if you make a deal, you want fame, fortune, all of that, that's how it's done. It's always done through the anal. That's just how their thing goes. Once it's opened, it don't close. So you may have done it. Watch this. You may have done it for ritual purposes, right? Or had it done to you. You hear the video where LeBron James is screaming because Diddy is on his back. Allegedly. Right? So sometimes it's a forced action. What video was that? The chickens coming home the roost? I said, what video is that? Allegedly already. Calm down. Calm down. I hit that. So, right? Once it's open, it's sort of like when your virginity is taken. Ain't no closing that valve. I'm talking about just straight up. Okay. You a teenager, right? That happens for a woman or man. Ain't nothing, you can't reverse that. The same thing with the male G-spot. So even after the ritual that you use to get into a secret society or, you take an oath to be a part of something, now it's open. Now that's all you want. These women, they know that. They specialize all of them vixens and all, that's what they specialize in. You think they just hiring these chicks to come over and have sex? Anybody can do that. They're bringing over specialists who got 2, 3, different size joints because they can't get off no more. Pay attention, unless the G spot for them is hit. He is a part of some sorority or fraternity, I already know. And on the upper levels, not the collegiate level where they just haze you, on them upper levels, he boule. He's probably been plugged and pegged.
He actually said he was boule.
Yeah, so the only way he can get off now, listen, y'all in for a wild show tonight.
Talking about Roland Martin.
The only way he can get off is that way now. And that's how all those demonic energies come into your being. You start singing better. You start playing ball better. You start doing shit, you hitting notes you couldn't hit before. The money start rolling in. It's because now your avatar is being controlled, but they can't come through the pineal gland. That's God's, right? That's God's doorway. They can only come through the devil's doorway. And once it's open, it's over. That's what happens sometime in the prisons, all that kind of stuff. Young men who have been violated and women, once you go there, you don't want the regular stuff anymore. So Jamie Foxx,
allegedly,
was supposed to, he ratted on Jamie Foxx. He said, I'm just telling you what he said. He said, that's how they got Jamie Foxx too. And Jamie like, whoa, fuck you, don't put my business out there. Shit. So it's a team of people who go around doing that because they don't just want the money you hired them to come in and perform those acts. They want that real money.
And people have zero empathy for him because he was the one who really started this internet exposure stuff. He really broke this when he used to go into Britney Spears.
He's talking about Perez Hilton now.
Miley Cyrus, all of these people. He used to out people.
Really, bro?
This is what they're into.
And people have really broke this when he used to go into Britney Spears, Miley Cyrus, all of these people. He used to out people all the time for being gay. He used to really expose a lot of people. So people were just like, you could die. Like, I don't care.
He is the white version of Wendy Williams.
Yeah.
You follow? Okay. Where Wendy was breaking stuff in our culture, Perez Hilton, that's all he did. That's where he got his name from, really going in on, like you said, who was gay, who was doing this, who was doing that. And at some point, there's a price to pay for that. I'm not going to go into the whole backdoor shenanigans, but he looked demonically possessed with all them cuts on his body, shedding his blood. Sometimes you can't, whatever enters is not trying to leave, right? So you want fame, fortune, we can give you all of that, but you will not get this avatar back, brothers and sisters. So all of you who want to go be famous and I'll do anything, be careful, because once, that's like a squatter. You got a spiritual squatter. You know what I mean? Shit, niggas ain't trying to leave your apartment, let alone your body. You can forget about it. So you see it in his face. He wish he could just take it and get it off him. That's why all these artists, they want to be in heavy alcoholics or heavy into drugs, because that's the only thing sometimes that could provide temporary relief. Sometimes it just makes it worse, because you're still opening up your senses and everything. But that's why they.
So look, there's so many jewels in what he just said, and I want to kind of go back over a few things because this is the macro is the celebrity world, and somebody like Perez Hilton, even though he wouldn't be considered a celebrity per se, he did become a celebrity by reporting on celebrities, right? And that saying that water seeks its own level, that shit is true on so many levels. Because if you notice, like, the people in the blog worlds and the celebrity worlds and the celebrity gossip worlds, eventually at some point they all end up like beefing and fighting amongst each other, right? It's like the what it takes to, it's almost parasitic in nature to be super invested nonstop in somebody else's life and what other people are doing, right? And that's not to say it's all like parasitic in a bad way. Obviously I don't mean it like that, but there is a very parasitic element to Hollywood and the way that Hollywood runs and controls the entertainment industry, the sporting industry. I'm not saying Hollywood runs the sports industry, but I'm going to talk about that in a little bit with LeBron James and the Lakers. But yeah, the overall sort of hand that's controlling things from behind the scene, and this sexual energy, this sexual portal that Black Dot was talking about, that was particular originally, in, I won't say ancient times, but in previous, I don't consider Greece culture ancient, but it would be definitely the ancient European history, where sodomy or those male sexual relationships were a high probability. That was a norm in those cultures. And so now you see, in terms of the humiliation ritual, in terms of the passageway to success, so to speak, this would be one of the reasons why they humiliate you and take your manhood from you, right? I remember I think it was a documentary that 50 Cent did on Diddy, and was it Christopher Williams who said that he walked into the office and that Diddy had a dude giving him oral sex or something to that effect, if I'm remembering correctly, and that a man had told him, probably his handler, probably the one who turned him out, maybe even Clive Davis, that if you can get a man to give you head, that you can completely control him. And just the idea, that mindset, that mentality, right? And then drugging somebody up and forcing them and all of the things, right? So coming back to what Black Dot said, because he dropped so many jewels, talking about demonic possession, right? I didn't watch the video of Perez Hilton, and I'm going to get into that story specifically in just a second, but I kind of wanted to set it up. I didn't watch the video, but I read several reports and watch several videos that let me know that I don't want to watch it, because I don't want that in my spirit. But we will, just heard a little bit of what that actually looked like. And he said it was like he looked like he was demonically possessed. He said that men have a G spot, and he said that when that G spot gets open, that it sends them into an open space where they're not connected or they're not rooted to anything, which makes a lot of sense when you see, especially some of the stuff we're going to talk about. And the thing I was thinking about as I was writing these notes, I know even for me, I thought about it, and the average person will be like, well, why would a man have a G spot? Right? I could see that argument being made in that world. What's the purpose of that? But when you understand the higher, sort of expressions and representations of sexual energy, the spiritual practices of sexual and cultivation of sexual energy, that you can tap into those energy centers, where you would locate. Excuse me for being. It sounds vulgar, but it's not vulgar. But you know what I mean. That G-spot penetration, right? Yeah, that there are other ways to tap into that energy without that physical penetration, right? So that's, if you study the Taoism and you study, the male energy and male sexual energy, and then there's a female version of it too, then that'll make more sense. But let me get off of that and back on point of what I want to say. He said that this portal or this valve, when it's open, that's where the demonic energies come in, right? He said that there's a price to pay once you open that valve. He said that, again, the guy looked demonically possessed, and that whatever enters through that portal does not want to leave, right? So now, this image right here is from my Keys to Womanhood workbook, the section where I have the the 7 chakras, the breakdown of the 7 chakras and the energy centers. And you can see from those images the color coding, which shows the particular chakra that we're talking about, where that energy center is. And the red one, the root chakra, is the one I want to hone in on to underscore the point that Black Dot was just making. I'm getting ready to get into this Sydney Star, Saucy Santana shit, so I'm kind of trying to like lay a base for this. The openness and flow of energy through our chakras determines our state of health and balance. Knowledge of our more subtle energy system empowers us to maintain balance and harmony on the physical, mental, and spiritual level. Peace and love to everybody just now tuning in. Very happy to have you guys. Welcome to episode 78 of Headline News with Zaza Ali. I am laying a base about the opening of sexual energy and in terms of men and what's the wording I want to use? Opening certain portals of sexual energy that are not supposed to be open, and the ramifications of said things, right? And so the root chakra being the physical area or representation where, the sexual energy is harnessed and held, right? It represents our foundation and feeling of being grounded. It's located at the end of the spine between the anus and sexual organs. Now, remember what Black Dot just said about that being a valve, an open and closing valve, right? The root chakra is the basis for who we are, our basic needs, our survival, our will to live, and grounding in life. It governs our connection to the energy of the earth, grounding presence, feeling safe in the physical reality, and self-preservation. Now, that whole thing that I just read, that whole concept totally defies everything about a man turning on his camera and going live and completely cutting himself up in front of the world and his children being in the other room. This person is not grounded, right? This person is not connected to source. And what did Black Dot say? That it sends you into an open space. Now, for me, this is definitely about the sexual energy and the sexual representation of this. But I also, in all of these different cases, what I want to know in the back of my mind is, did this person take that shot? Because there is an element to this in terms of the frequency harnessing, all this technology that I'm talking about, whether it's the patent for the nervous system manipulation through the computer screens, or whether it's the white lines in the sky, like all this technology that I'm talking about, it's all connected and relative in a certain way. So my first thing I want to know is, did Perez Hilton take the shot? It might mean nothing. It might mean everything, but I still want to know. And unfortunately now they're trying to abide by HIPAA laws again, when in 2020, HIPAA laws didn't mean shit. Imagine that.
That's
so
what
young
they look
Pharaoh.
like. What is that? That's what the
real
real
one
that is? No, that's the reptilians.
Pardon me. It's not supposed to be playing. So young Pharaoh just went live. And again, everything that I just talked about in terms of this sexual energy, I'm leading up to this, and I'm specifically talking about young Pharaoh in the lane of this conversation for a reason. This just went live or started trending, I think the day before yesterday. Young Pharaoh in a nail salon getting acrylic nails. You can see the image of him there. I don't know if that's an AI photo, but the video I'm getting ready to show you actually shows this brother getting his nails done. And then I went to his YouTube channel, and I was going to screen record this and put it on, but I don't even want that kind of spirit in my content. You guys can go to his page. He has a new page apparently, and see. But he was on a bed, rolling around in the bed in a very frivolous, very dainty, feminine sort of way. And not like, oh, he might have meant this or he might have been playing around. Like, nah, that shit is clear cut, undeniable. It is what it is, right? And so let me just play this video real quick. This is from this video was done by the Spiritual Shade Room. So it's just going to show a clip. There's a couple of areas of it where I don't think there's any talking, but they're going to show the actual clip of him, and pay attention to what he says about feeling like a cat, and also the fact that he got cheetah prints on his nails, because automatically, and when Black Dot was talking about what did he say? He said they can't get their avatar back, meaning their physical body, right? That's Kanye West. And I'm going to talk about Ye in just a minute. Kanye can't get his physical avatar back. And so this situation with young Pharaoh, and I'm looking at him, and I've, been watching him in the trajectory of where he started and where he is now. And so to see this and then to see the response of so many people like, oh, they got him, I think we're kind of missing the bigger picture here. But let me play the video. Shout out to everybody who's just now tuning in. This is Headline News, episode 78. We have been laying the base for the conversation about inverted and perverted sexual energy and how a lot of people in the social media influencer space and in Hollywood and in a lot of these entertainment spaces are locked in these sexual MK Ultra programs, which is what I think young Pharaoh is actually experiencing right now. Peace and love, Dr. AJ. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. For the entrance fee, very happy to have you as always. So let me play this video real quick.
Peace, coming. It's your boy Young Pharaoh, aka Little Feet, the Holy Ghost, and this is serious. I'm out at Chipotle right now with them stingers on, swag bubba. It is what it is. I'm in Detroit. What's up? We're getting ready to go back to the crib. Stream on Star Wars Battlefront 2. If you stream on Star Wars Battlefront 2, hop on, hop off.
This is old young Pharaoh.
That all physical reality is sustained by motion, and anything that is no longer at the electromagnetic vibratory frequency undergoes what is called death, which is the permanent termination of the biological function of the state of the organism. If you fuse your spirit body or your ethno body with your physical body, you can eat directly from the source. So the soles of your hands, the soles of your feet, the palms of your hand, these transmute energy. These are your 11 chakras. Your aura is you have 7 levels of existence. You only see them with the 2 eyes, which is the 3rd dimension, which is the distance level. You got the 7th eye, which is your crown chakra.
Now, this is what happens when, and I've seen this 1,000 times, and I think that social media has really magnified this to infinity. This is what happens when you're trying to master the cosmos and you still haven't mastered your lower nature, right? And so I thought young Pharaoh was dope when he first came out, like a lot of us who were paying attention to his content. But there's something that happens with people who get, and this is how you can tell how fame does celebrities, because it's the same thing that's happening with a lot of these influencers where they, the attention, right, and the focus in on them and the feeding of the ego and then the ability to feed the lower nature, right? The same way rappers and shit used to have groupies or still have groupies. Influencers be having groupies too. People meet you and are really so stoked and excited. This is why all of the celebrities now are going and sitting down with the streamers. But a big issue with that, I went to young Pharaoh's new page. First of all, he's sitting around playing video games all day. Apparently he streams. So the whole streaming industry and how we focus on the benefit, there's certain, ones, Kai Cenat, and I think iSpeed is his name, and a few others that have broke the mold and became millionaires and whatnot. But then at the same time, we see these people eventually spiraling out or talking about mental health, right? Because none of us are supposed to be sitting with cameras in front of our faces like a looking glass. That shit's not healthy, right? So young Pharaoh in this video, and I don't think he said it in this one, but there's a longer version of this video. This was just like a collage of a couple of things. He mentioned that he felt like a cat, and then he had the fingernails with the cheetah print, which is one of the known sex MK Ultra programs. I have a video. I don't know. Should I play that? It's about the monarchy and the butterflies and the cheetah prints. We'll see. Let me see how I'm doing with time. I've been talking for about 48 minutes now, I think. So yeah, let me see how I'm doing with time. But I keep seeing people when they're sharing this or talking about in the chat, in the comments, that they got him. I keep seeing this. I keep hearing this. What's the sister's name? Angela Stanton posted, not this video, but she posted another video of him and basically said in her caption, they got him. And I'm like, you know, I'm going to play this video. And one thing I don't like to do is I don't like to like beat people when they're down, right? I don't like to, if you see a person online spiraling out, you know what I'm saying? Or like going through something, or maybe they're having a mental breakdown or something like that. Like, I don't like to bring back up the fact that, you know what I'm saying? Or like tit for tat, none of that. Even with the Perez Hilton situation, and a lot of people saying, yeah, it's karma. Yeah, that's what you get. Like, we got to be careful to still have it be human beings and to be empathetic, because it's one thing to spaz out and to lose your mind and lose control of your shit. It's a whole different ballgame to do that shit in front of the world. Right? So whatever punishment you think these guys may deserve, trust me, they're absolutely 1000% getting it, right? But I want to show this because this is critical for me, because I remember when this happened. This video was posted in 2013, which would have been like, 13 years ago. I can't remember if it was exactly around that timeline, because, you know, so much has happened, right? But I do remember when this happened, and I was following Young Pharaoh at the time, and I wasn't like, you know, watching him all the time. It's just, you know, randomly I would watch a video or whatever on YouTube. And so I clicked the video of him. Maybe he was live, I don't remember. But he was spazzing out and talking big shit about his children's mother. I'm talking about cussing her out. I'm talking about calling her bees and hoes, and talking about beating her up and putting hands on her. I mean, it was all out chaos, warfare, the type of shit you expect to see on Cops, let alone reality TV, right? And this is all happening on film on his page. And I'm seeing the way that he is disrespecting his sister, and I'm seeing the way he's talking, the way he's carrying, the way how arrogant he is, how cocky he is. And I had never seen this part of his personality. And right then and there, that for me tainted anything that I ever had heard him say beyond that. Doesn't mean I didn't listen to content at a certain point and like maybe get some benefit, or, you know, oh, he dropped a jewel here, or, you know, maybe he did this or whatever. It doesn't mean I completely turned it off. But I knew when I saw this situation with his children's mother, he is out of line with the divine feminine, and eventually that shit's gonna come to the surface. So the ego and the attention, especially when you don't feel, you know what I mean, like you deserve the attention. That's when it's really all bad, right? Because eventually you're going to sabotage your shit because you don't think you deserved it anyway, right? So I want to play this short clip. This is his children's mother talking about the fact after what I saw, which was a confrontation, that he came to her house and shot up her house. And again, my intention is not to like kick him while he's down. My thing is, I don't understand why in our culture, we are so prone to letting the disrespect and the traumatizing and the abusing and the projection and the only focusing on women. We let so much shit slide. Like I keep saying, and I've been saying for a long time, if we can get 80% of a good man, a good orator, right? He knows some history. He's got some consciousness. He can talk about the white man. Maybe he can teach us a few things. Maybe he can do this. Maybe he can do that. Maybe he's great in this area, not so good in this area, you know, whatever. Like, we'll settle for 80% and ignore 20% of shit that should be alarming. And not to say we should be disregarding anybody. Young Pharaoh is not the type of mind to disregard, but it is the type of energy, that warrior energy and that warrior spirit, and that sort of knowing, internal knowing that you meant to be a king, right? But the difference is earning your kingdom versus just going online and going live and just popping some shit and talking about some things that you haven't actually mastered yet.
This man is fucking crazy. I'm waiting.
And the language in this is kind of strong, so you guys just bear with me. But you know, I think it's par for the course when we look at the before part of this video, and then we look at the after and where we are right now. But this is what was happening 10, 13 years ago, and we weren't pointing it out. This wasn't a serious enough situation for us to be like, whoa, wait a minute. not cancel, but definitely correct. Definitely take the microphone, right? We definitely need to get you off the computer.
That's what they look like. What is that? That's what the
Do you know what that is?
No, that's the reptilians. That's them.
Sorry, guys. It's playing out of order.
This man is fucking crazy. I'm waiting for the police right now, but this man is fucking crazy, clearly. I'm about to show y'all. So, I don't see the actual bullet, but you see this? I guess this is where it went. I wonder if it's not in there. So it came from my house right here. The bullet hole and the thing is, hold on, I don't know if you guys can see that. Wait, the bullet hole is right there, and we're full. What a fucking moron.
When I talk about the people get the leaders that they deserve, right? And that's not to like meant to sound cruel or to callous, but it is to highlight the fact that like this is an ongoing thing. This is a, you know, in the Bible, that passage that talks about the devil coming in the straight and narrow path, like one of the main ways that they have used to get Black men, particularly Black men in leadership or Black men with potential, the straight and narrow path is to go at you through your sexual energy. And so Black Dot was talking about the inverted, perverted aspect, right? But then the flip side and the extension of that, if you will, is just the regular heterosexual man that can control his sexual energy, but in a position of leadership, right? And so I'm watching this unfold. And then over the years, I watched him consistently still, you know, from the not watching too closely, but still like aware of what was going on. And I was like, damn, you can do this type of stuff and be a Black thought leader or be a Black influencer or be a Black man that's considered to have respect and that can travel around and debate. You can be out here in the world carrying on like this and wigging out and still be considered respectful in the Black community. Oh, okay. So I keep seeing they got him. No, he got him. What are we talking about? He got him. You can see it's like a conveyor belt. It's a certain amount of energy, and then all of a sudden a certain amount of money, and then all of a sudden a certain amount of women, and all of a sudden a certain amount of chaos, and then all of a sudden a certain amount of unraveling. This video is not directly relevant to this, but when I was putting these videos together, when you look at this lizard-like image on the right in this video I'm about to play, versus the image on the screen on the left of young Pharaoh and those nails. And I thought young Pharaoh was a handsome young brother, you know, without the tattoo and when his face was fuller, right? And he looked healthy and vibrant. He looks like all of the life has been sucked out of him now. Pause. He looks like he's on Ozempic. He looks like he's on GLP-1. He looks like Serena Williams and Ariana Grande and what's the other sister's name that played in a y'all know who I'm talking about. I know her name, but it always kind of slips my mind. He has that sunken place look in his face. So how is the devil getting in? What makes demonic possession an actual thing? Sometimes it's SA. Sometimes it's the taking of innocence. Sometimes it's alcohol. Sometimes it's drugs. Sometimes it's food. Right? Anything that can take you out of your normal character, that can take you out of who you truly authentically are, and have you out here wilding out on some, I want to hurt somebody else, I want to do harm to other people intentionally. You know, there is a story, and I'm totally going to butcher this because it's like a whole little, it's a great legend or a sort of marking point that says basically, you know, when people grow up with trauma or abandonment issues or, you know, the difficulties that we all kind of grow up with in our childhood, right? or most of us grew up with. The question is, the fork in the road is, do you become the hero or do you become the villain? Right? And if you become the hero, that's a high level of alchemy. That's all I keep talking about in 1,000 different ways. I keep talking about alchemy. Like, yeah, the worse the situation and the higher you can come back from that shit, higher levels of alchemy. Do you become a hero or do you become a villain? So in this moment, and I saw somebody in the chat said this is the second baby mama. So I think the first one was Golden something. I think that's the one I saw him actually having the fight with, if I remember correctly. And so this will be the second one, because I was trying to put the two stories together, but I didn't want to be that invested in it, right? Because I knew back then, all those years ago when I was watching that, I don't believe anything you say anymore. You can't handle your household energy and your household business, and you talking about having multiple wives, and you haven't even perfected the science of maintaining one. I don't want to hear that shit. So this video, talking about, this is like not directly reflective of young Pharaoh, but it is reflective of this concept of demonic possession, right? It is reflective of this idea that there are energy vampires, or what does the Bible call it? Spiritual wickedness in high places, right? This is what we're dealing with. And so when we talk about spiritual warfare, the macrocosm, the microcosm is what we're looking at with young Pharaoh right now. His shit's just happening in front of the world, but it has to happen in front of the world because his trajectory and his success, if you will, his notoriety came from the internet.
That's what they look like. Yes.
Do you know what it is?
No, but that's cool. Geneva?
I'll tell you what it is. EU Parliament.
Bro.
European Union.
I get it. Yes. Why would they have that there?
Wow. For what reason? Can you? So guys, you were there. Stop some kind of an asshole, bro. Can you explain me with this?
I know why.
What is it? What's an art? Why? What kind of art this is? What's the message behind this?
You know why?
I don't. Why? They're mocking us. They're laughing at us. They're showing their true faces. What?
Everything it's fake and gay, and they always
show face.
So he said this is at the EU Parliament. This is two lizard-like reptilians sitting, and one of them is holding a box that has a regular-looking man and woman sitting in their living room, doing a normal day. In previous episodes, I've shown images of the Pope, and when the Pope does his services on Sunday at the Catholic Diocese in Rome, there is a very strange lizard-like structure in the back of him. This is the alleged holy Catholic Church, Holy Roman Pope, alleged. Right? It's one of the other tentacles. We talk tentacles. We talk a lot about the small hats, but let's be clear. Satan is working its power through a lot of these different representations of religion, allegedly. So there's an image of him sitting in front of this huge structure. I should have put it in here because it'll totally make tie in what I'm saying. It's half a man and it's half a reptile. And then in the back of it, if you remember the movie The Devil's Advocate, where that scene, it was a fly-ass scene, but it was a wicked scene, where Al Pacino is standing in front of the art piece that starts moving, and it looks like hell, like a whole bunch of souls, are being burned in hell or whatever in the background. Like, yeah, the Pope stands in front of a pulpit and teaches his sermon, alleged. I don't know. I would never listen to that shit. But, every week. So that reptilian energy, right? When I'm looking at young Pharaoh, I'm looking at the aura in his face and the energy and the essence that the energy that he's represented. And mind you, we saw the video of the before when his face was full, when he looked vibrant and full of life, right? Peace and love to everybody just now tuning in. I had to sit my incense down. I just lit another incense. Thank you guys so much for being here. This is Headline News episode 78 with Zaza Ali. We are getting into the science of the science. Just a reminder for everybody, I have a 50% off my one-on-one consultations. They will no longer be accessible after August 2026. I'm discontinuing that service, so there's a link in the description for half off. Also, I take a lot of time and energy to put into these news reports. This is actually something that is specifically for my membership channel, but I like doing the lives and engaging with you guys, and I know it's a whole different frequency when we do this live, right? So make sure you guys support. My Cash App information is in the description, super chats, super stickers, all of the things. Because again, this is not just me sitting down and talking about what I think about certain things. This is me putting together a body of work and a presentation to make a point about what's happening in the world, but like the bigger picture, right? So you see the image of on the left of young Pharaoh, and he's got the whole eye of Horus around his eye. And then you see the image of Polite on the right, and he has the eye of Horus around his eye. And then you see the image of Nature Boy in the middle. And there is a continuity in this frequency. There is a continuity in this energy, and it all centers around women. Polite got away with a lot of energetic and spiritual, what's the word? Being out of alignment, I'll say, because he had multiple wives. I saw men in the conscious community like fawn over him and the fact that he would show up with his 3 or 4 wives, you know what I mean? And they got the short skirts on and the bodies out and all the things. He got a lot of passes and got a lot of acceptance and got a lot of or less actual criticism or being held accountable because he showed up with 3 or 4 different women on his arm and he was representing materialism and money. Right. But again, mastering the cosmos before mastering the lower nature. If you ever needed a sign, ladies and gentlemen, because I done talked to some women, too, that's like talking about levitating and etheric concepts and still haven't like learned some basic things about themselves. Right. So the original CBS sign on the bottom. This is what that eye looked like before. The current one is on the left, at the bottom left, CBS, their logo, the all-seeing eye is one of CBS just being one of their control mechanisms. But the one on the right is the original eye. And I'm only pointing this out because I'm not saying that that's what Polite or Pharaoh are representing when they got that on their eyes. What I am saying is that a lot of times our original signs and symbols that were originally had powerful meaning have been subverted and inverted to represent something else, right? And so here we have a symbolic representation of taking the eye of Horus, right, and reclaiming that symbol, so to speak, right, reclaiming the power of what that actually meant. But it's hypocritical and it's bullshit because you haven't mastered your lower nature. How do we know? Because one of these brothers is sitting here with a full set of acrylic nails and the other one is in jail for essaying a 14-year-old girl. And then the one in the middle is in jail too. So again, the sexual element keeps popping up in all of these different ways. How the devil gets in. Make sure this is the right one. That I have my slides in order here. Okay, yeah. Love and hip hop star arrested on child sex charges at hotel, police say. I hope that the point that I made when I started this out, talking about opening up these energy centers and talking about the sexual proclivities that are being promoted in modern society today, and how we're starting to see these people that the whole world is like lifting up and making, this big message about inclusion, right? And all of the things that come with that. Yeah, but at the same time, there is a lot of charges like this, a lot of them aren't even getting a lot of attention, where we can see that the confusion, right? The being in open space, like Black Dot described it, I think that was a great way to describe being in open space and not being connected to anything is starting to show. So the irony of this mugshot is that this guy doesn't look anything like this when he's in full glam, which I'm going to show in just a second. Sydney Starr, whose legal name is Sydney Favors, was arrested Sunday at the Embassy Suites by Hilton Hotel in Hateville for the alleged sexual assault of a boy, arrest warrant show. Favors is being held without bond in the Fulton County Jail on charges of aggravated child molestation, sexual battery against a child under 16, and sodomy, according to jail records. According to the warrants, Favors allegedly confessed to performing oral sex on a boy at the hotel on Sunday morning, claiming the act was consensual. Favors is a transgender model known for her appearances. Let's correct that. Known for his appearances on several reality shows filmed in Atlanta, including Atlanta Plastic and Baddies ATL. He also starred in Love and Hip Hop New York and on one episode of the hit series Empire. A spokesperson for the Hateville Police Department told Atlanta News First the department could not release further details on the case because it involves juvenile. And I wish somebody would try to have a problem with me referring to this dude as a man. Still trying to make an argument about pronouns and shit like this when a little child has been violated. I wish you would.
I had the thing with Chingy.
You destroyed his life.
No, Adam, no, I didn't.
Sydney, when I said taking, I just meant that because we family, so I wanted you. You know what I'm saying? I didn't because I talk really bad.
People don't really understand.
So I want to act like I'm good when I'm really bad.
Life or career. It was just something. I was very young at that time. I was only 19 when
Shout out to Chingy.
I wasn't even 21 years old yet when that happened. I was young-minded. I started my transition at 15.
Break it down what happened with Chingy, because a lot of people are new and they're watching now in 2025. Exactly. So break it down for them and take it from the beginning. What happened? I know, but just be a little bit on it.
I'm going to be real. I was young. I was 19. I was a backup dancer. You know a lot about that, Amber. We being backup dancers. So I was working for a show that was with Shauna the rapper, DTP. No, not DTP. God damn it. Shauna getting some head. Shauna.
Timberland.
Yeah, no.
Wasn't Shauna?
Ludacris.
She was the one.
I had the thing with Chingy.
You destroyed his.
And, I never said anything about my situation because no one seemed to have known. You can't just, I don't think, look at me and just know that. But that was the first time I met him, definitely, at that performance.
At what point did you decide to, put out the story that you and Chingy had some sort of romantic relationship?
Oh, I would say the time that I put that story out was probably 2 years after
I can't even listen
took those
to this
pictures
shit.
together.
I can't even listen to it. I can't. Chingy and Sydney Starr, How a Lie Derailed the Rapper's Career. This was back in 2023. Well, this was published in 2023. Oh, this was 2010. At the time, Sydney claimed she and the rapper were in a relationship. Remember, that was in 2010 when the word transgender. Now, listen, check out this article. This is on a website called hotnewhiphop.com. I don't even know if this is AI or not. That's the level I'm at right now with all of this shit, right? So this might have been written by a person. It might be AI. Either way, it is doing what it is supposed to be doing. At the time, Sydney claimed she and the rapper were in a relationship. Remember that this was in 2010 when the word transgender wasn't in the public vernacular and vastly misunderstood. Even though Sydney has admitted she and Chingy were never involved, it was too late. Now listen to this language. Between transphobia, homophobia, and flat-out ignorance, this is how Chingy's whole career was derailed based on a lie. So it wasn't the liar. It was based on how everybody responded to the lie. You talk about victim consciousness. In 2010, Sydney Starr spilled the tea on her relationship with Chingy, but it turned out to be a lie. The Chingy Sydney Star saga has been going on for more than 13 years now. As the burgeoning rapper was burning up the charts, it seemed like nothing could stop his career. That was until one photo derailed everything. Once Chingy took a picture with transgender TV personality Sydney Star, his life changed. The Chingy Sydney Star drama, and mind you, look at the picture. He said he doesn't look like a man. Okay. All started in the most innocuous way possible. In Chicago 2010, a young female fan wanted to take a photo with Chingy after one of his shows, but it wasn't a female fan. It was a man who was dressed like a woman. He obliged, thinking it was no big deal. The young lady was a transgender woman. Sydney started looking to kickstart her career. From that point, she started a whole narrative that Chingy had no idea about. Sydney used the photo as proof she and Chingy were involved in a sexual relationship. She wanted the world to know she was the one for the rapper. While stories about Chingy's relationships were a dime a dozen, this one picked up more steam than most since Sydney was a transgender. People began questioning Chingy's sexuality, the last thing an artist in the notoriously homophobic and transphobic hip-hop world wants. Fans began eyeing him differently and made assumptions about his personal life. He essentially became persona non grata. Not only did Chingy's reputation take a hit, but also his career. This is a level of mental illness that is not being talked about enough, and now we are starting to see these people unravel. Paris Hilton's family says he needs surgery after experiencing significant blood loss during live stream. Paris Hilton's family shared that he will have to undergo surgery after experiencing significant blood loss during an August 4th live stream where he appeared to harm himself. As the media personality remains hospitalized after appearing to engage in self-harm during an August 4th TikTok live stream, his family shared an update on his treatment. Perez's condition remains serious but stable, his family wrote. He experienced significant blood loss and sustained additional injuries that will require surgery in the coming days. We want to confirm that Perez remains hospital under Florida's Baker Act, which provides crisis services for people suffering from mental illness. He has not communicated with the media or issued any public statements. His children remain safe and are being cared for by immediate family. Mind you, his children were at home in the other room when he actually did this live. Police were dispatched to Hilton's Miami home on the night of August 4th after he went on a TikTok live stream where he appeared to be covered in blood while holding what seemed to be a knife. Police said they eventually were able to make contact with a person later confirmed to be Hilton inside the residence, noting that he had safely been recovered and transported by Miami-Dade Fire Rescue to a local hospital. When I saw the current images of him, this man has aged so terribly. He looks so old. I think me and him are the same age. He might even be a couple of years younger than me. This man has aged so terribly. That's him on the right. That's him in the middle with his son, who looks like a doll. He doesn't even look real. That's him on the left in The Advocate. That's Ariana Grande at the bottom left in one of her recent videos, which I'm going to show a video for in just a second, where she is completely covered in blood, looking like the scene from Carrie, the movie. And then Cynthia Erivo was her name that I was looking for earlier. And Ariana Grande finally cleared the air. We are in a non-demi, curious, semi-binary relationship. So that sunken place look that Ariana Grande always has and that Cynthia Erivo has is the sunken place look that I saw in Young Pharaoh in that video and in those videos. Ariana Grande takes a break. Mind you, all of this stuff was happening within this last week to 2 weeks in terms of Ariana Grande, Perez Hilton, all this stuff, her releasing this video, Pedal. Ariana Grande takes a break from public life amid endless scrutiny. Overwhelmed, Ariana Grande ends North American tour, leg of tour as break looms. Ariana Grande is taking a step back from visibility after public scrutiny. Everybody's talking about her body image. Everybody's scrutinizing her. This girl has been under a humiliation ritual for I don't even know how long it's been now. They are completely raping and robbing her of her soul. And you can see in the images at the bottom, in the middle picture, she has life in her face. She has light in her eyes. She used to have a full face. She always had a beautiful voice. And now she has no light in her eyes. Her physical body is, this is what was so funny to me though. And they're saying that she has an eating disorder, but I think she's on Ozempic. I think they forced her on Ozempic or one of those GLP-1 drugs, right? On the bottom right, you can see that she has 2 upcoming events, one on August 16th, one on September 1st in London, on both of those legs of her tour, right? So this is somebody who has actively been unraveling, again, right in front of us. And she's saying she needs to stop. And she's saying she needs to take a break for her public image, but she's still being forced to tour, as was Michael Jackson at the end of his life and the end of his career.
Did you notice Perez Hilton's self-harm behavior resembled Ariana Grande's music video? No one realized Ariana's 3 actions won everyone's praise. Before the live stream, Perez posted a video discussing Ariana stepping back from the public eye. Later, his live stream caused controversy, with some scenes appearing similar to moments from one of Ariana's music videos. First, Ariana quickly took action by temporarily removing the music video and planning safer footage. She also asked platforms to disable the video's auto-clipping feature and encouraged people not to spread the live stream footage. Second, during her tour, Ariana explained the meaning behind the artwork. She said the intense rebellion shown in the music video was only part of the character and artistic expression, not a reflection of real-life behavior, highlighting the difference between art and reality. Third, Ariana did not publicly attack Perez. Instead, she privately reached out to his family and refused to turn him into a target of public criticism. She understood that he might be going through a mental health crisis rather than simply seeking attention. What do you think about Perez Hilton's self-harm incident?
These 2 things aren't happening at the same time for no reason. This is him talking about her. This was one of his final videos before he had this mental psychotic break and started cutting himself. And I have the video on the right just looping. This is a current video called Pedal that she has out where she's doing the exact same thing that he ends up doing live on his TikTok live stream. I'm not going to play this whole video. I'm just going to play a couple minutes of it.
This is a difficult video to make, and I'm going to do my best to work through it in real time with you. Hello, my friend. It is Perez, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and Ariana Grande has dropped out of a Sondheim musical that she was supposed to star in next summer in London with her Wicked co-star Jonathan Bailey, and also announced that she's taking a step back from public life after her tour is over. There's much more to this, though. Ari just released her new album, which I really like. Have you checked it out? She also released a music video for her new song, Pedal, that got a lot of people talking and chiming in on her body. And Ariana has spoken herself about this before, saying, "Don't talk about my body, even if you're coming from a place of concern."
So don't talk about your body that's being shown. The fact that you just did a video and you're covered in blood and you have an issue with the fact where people are talking about your body. You're making it as if they're talking about your body when the real problem is that your ass is covered in blood and depicting a film where you actually took somebody out with a knife. Why would a person who's having mental health issues be, do we think she's making any of these choices and decisions? Absolutely not. So why would someone with clear, obvious, internal issues, bodily issues, mental health issues be forced to be represented like that? This girl is in a full-fledged humiliation ritual and she cannot get out. Like the Black Dot said, they can't get that avatar back. She cannot get her avatar back. So while all of this is happening with Perez Hilton, Young Pharaoh, and there's another one, Sydney Starr, this thing happens on the 10th, which was 2 days ago now. This is all happening right around the same time with Perez Hilton. Now, I looked at this girl's Instagram. I don't even know if this is a real person or not. Like, the filters are so strong in every single picture. Why would somebody who's like 25 need to have a filter on every picture? You're young. You're in the prime of your life. Show your actual face. A lot of these people don't even look real. So I don't even know if this is a real person. Let me just paraphrase with that. But K-pop influencer dies during TikTok Live days after Perez Hilton's disturbing incident. According to the South Korean news agency Yonhap, police received a report at approximately 5:33 a.m. on August the 5th. Oh, let me turn my camera back on. Not that you guys can see me, but at least you know I'm still here. On August the 5th, about a Japanese influencer in her 20s who was attempting suicide during a TikTok live stream. Seoul's Yongsan police station is reportedly investigating the circumstances surrounding Chan's death. An account believed to belong to Chan's younger sister confirmed the loss through an Instagram story on August 6th. My beloved sister, who was always kind and warm to everyone she met, has passed away. News of Chan's death comes as another disturbing live stream involving celebrity blogger Perez Hilton has raised concerns about self-harm content appearing on social media. The two incidents are unrelated. Oh, really? I think on a certain level, they're all related. Peace and love. If you guys are just now tuning in, please make sure you like this video. Welcome. Very happy to have you here. We are talking about the strange happenings in Hollywood and in influencer culture as of late. As a reminder, all of my contact information is in the description, my website, my books, my Cash App. All super chats, all super stickers, all reciprocity are greatly appreciated. This news episode is something that is actually reserved for my private membership channel. So, I hope you guys are enjoying this. I have a part 2 of this that's going to be centered around Jay-Z, Rock Nation, some more conversation about Kanye West and some other things. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that just now as of yet. But another thing that's been, blatantly obvious over these last, I'll say 20 years in particular, is celebrities who are adopting children, Black children, yes, but even not just adopting children, their own biological children that are now coming out to be trans, right? And we know Dwayne Wade and the story with his son and Gabrielle Union. Charlize Theron actually adopted 2 boys who are now both identifying as girls. There's definitely something in the water. Theron's first child, Jackson Theron, was born in early 2012. The actress announced the news of her adoption in March 2012. In April 2019, she revealed that Jackson had changed her gender identity. So she would have been how old at that point? 7, I think it says, if I remember. Charlize and her 7-year-old son, Jackson, Charlize Theron and her 7-year-old son, Jackson, he would throw tantrums if she didn't let him dress up in girls' clothes. So she gave in. Jackson looked at me when he was 3 years old and said, "I am not a boy," she told the reporter who approached her in Beverly Hills. So there you go. I have 2 beautiful daughters who, just like any parent, I want to protect and I want to see them thrive. Months later, Theron asked the press to use the right pronouns for her daughter, but she wouldn't comment further on Jackson's identity. My daughter's story is really her story. One day, if she chooses, she'll tell her story. But I feel like as her mother, it was important to let the world know that I would appreciate if they would use the right pronouns for her. Well, do you want it to be private or do you want it to not? Why is anybody in the public or anywhere concerned? Why are you concerned with how anybody is addressing your daughter, your child, your son? I think these are the building blocks of these children getting their energy siphoned and
I would welcome a transaction on my team or against my team anytime. I don't think it's a problem in the world.
Potentially put up for auction off would be a good way to say it. And I know we don't think that that's possible or that anybody is capable of that, but I think those Epstein files hopefully have given us a little more insight into how these people's worlds operate.
It's just another way to kind of attack trans people.
A few moments later.
I am officially declaring myself a WNBA prospect. If simply
I want to start that video over because I want us to hear what this WNBA player says. I wonder if a lot of these players have even really thought about the idea of having men play in their league.
I welcome a trans athlete on my team or against my team anytime. I don't think it's a problem in the world. It's just another way to kind of attack trans people.
A few moments later.
I am officially declaring myself a WNBA prospect. If simply declaring who you are is all that's required, then I meet every single requirement necessary to compete in the WNBA. My team and I have carefully examined the WNBA's eligibility criteria and governing framework surrounding self-identification and inclusion. Based on the current guidelines, I can and am officially declaring my eligibility for the upcoming WNBA draft in May 2027. I am definitely not here to mock, make fun of, or disrespect any community or personal choices. I am simply asking that the current rules be applied equally to everyone. The rules that represent the very values many WNBA players and coaches have publicly advocated for. My team and I are prepared to ensure these guidelines are applied equally, consistently, and without exception. And I look forward to the WNBA honoring its stated principles. See you at training camp.
And as Cantor Freedom has officially submitted paperwork to enter the 2027 WNBA draft. The 34-year-old former NBA big man shared a signed letter formally notifying the WNBA of his decision to enter the draft pool, claiming he meets the league's current eligibility requirements. Cantor first announced his intentions on Friday, saying, if simply declaring who you are is all that's required, then I meet every single requirement necessary to compete in the WNBA. He insists this is not a joke, but rather an attempt to see if the league will apply its current rules equally. Former NBA player Royce White has also expressed interest in entering the draft. But this all comes amid an ongoing debate over transgender athletes in women's sports, with the WNBA commissioner Kathy Engelbert saying the league remains committed to fair competition. So my question for you, what happens if Cantor's application is actually accepted?
WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbart says the league leadership will meet next week to address whether men who identify as trans are eligible to play. You know why I'm here for this? Let me just sip my tea real quick. You know why I'm here for this? People are saying, oh, he's just trolling, whatever. It's all a circus. So why not add a little complexity and a little bit of pizzazz and a little bit of, thinking outside the box showmanship in the circus? Because all this shit's a circus. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbart acknowledged that teams have received questions about transgender athletes in women's basketball and said the issue is expected to continue receiving significant attention. A task force consisting of team presidents, how long have I been talking? An hour and, okay. A task force consisting of team presidents and general managers is scheduled to discuss this topic at a previously planned meeting next week. The discussion comes as former NBA players Royce White and Inez Cantor Freedom have announced plans, his last name being Freedom, that's funny, have announced plans to pursue entry into the 2027 WNBA draft amid debate over the league's eligibility rules. White said he identifies as transgender for purposes of professional basketball and has suggested he could take legal action if denied an opportunity to play. The controversy centers on the WNBA's eligibility language. Reporting on the league's rules says the CBA states that only women are eligible to play, while the language does not alone provide a detailed definition of a woman or a standalone set of transgender eligibility criteria. The WNBA and its Players Association finalized a new 7-year collective bargaining agreement earlier this year, covering 2026 to 2032. Again, it's all a circus. And the irony is that the WNBA now, no judgment, no shade, it's just a fact, it has a very, very, very large concentration of lesbians. So the league would be, I'm only pointing that out to emphasize that the league will be and would be very highly favorable or in favor of, right, the idea of even opening up this conversation. The fact that it wasn't immediately deaded off top should tell us everything that we need to know. When I saw this, I was like, oh, they're actually going to meet to have a real conversation about it. All of you guys, all this shit is weird. The sunken place, this image, this facial energy that we keep seeing in these people. Serena lost 31 to 34 pounds over the course of a year using the GLP receptor against agonist medication Zepbound with the support from telehealth platform Roe. She shared that the treatment helped her overcome a postpartum weight plateau after her second child, improving her joint health, energy levels, and blood markers. This is a professional athlete who has played at the highest heights, who has trained her body at the highest heights, who doesn't have to work a 9 to 5. You know, most women's issue after they have a child is about not having time to work out. She has all the time in the world to work out. I think this is another one of those, forced humiliation rituals, so to speak. Because why would somebody like Ariana Grande be taking a weight loss supplement? Why would Serena Williams be taking a weight loss supplement? And then at the same time, we have this woman who was just 2 weeks ago crying about her record sales and how people weren't listening to her music, which is fascinating to me. Calling all my ladies over 200, go outside and pop something. So the reason why I use the term Hunger Games, because, and I said this to my son when I responded to him in one of his videos, you know, I understand the concept of eat the rich. I'll never be in that frame of mind, right? I don't have that type of temperament, but I understand how they're building up things with social media and in the collective, you know, consciousness for people to start hating rich people so much because of these antics, because of shit like this. And then next week she'll be crying about the fact that she has mental health issues and that people are always talking about her body. Then put some clothes on. It's like trying to control if you've ever seen people try to break a wild horse or a stallion, trying to control the internet and expecting people to be nice or to treat you fair or to treat you right, especially when you're crying and screaming for attention. That's just not how this shit works. Kanye West performed a massive concert on Saturday, May 20th, 2026 at the Ataturk Olympic Stadium in Istanbul, Turkey. The 2-hour show drew an estimated 118,000 fans, marking his largest live performance ever and his first European concert since 2014. Peace and love to everybody who is just now tuning in. I'm very happy to have you guys. Please like this video. Help me to get live in the algorithm. My contact information is in the description. All love, all reciprocity. I was going to leave this video up on YouTube for you guys to watch, but it's feeling a little, I might have to, I don't know. I'll figure it out before I end this video. But, so it was on May 30th. Everybody was talking about the fact that he sold out 118,000, right? And this is him backstage at the Istanbul show alongside Michelle Lamy, Pete, and designer Alex Peru, right? So this is at the Ataturk Olympic Stadium in Istanbul, Turkey. Now, remember going back to that point Black Dot made about wanting to get your avatar back. This is the image of Kanye West with this chick on the left who is Michelle Lamy, who I keep talking about because I can totally see the energy harnessing that's taking place when she is in the midst of Black celebrities and Black entertainers. As in this video with Kanye, even though Kanye has been on some kind of weird shit with the energy that he's been representing in his clothing and how he presents, right? his frequency has been dull for a long time. The only time his energy feels and his aura feels strong is when he's performing. And I think that might be one of the reasons why he has that big, beautiful, I mean, it's an engineering masterpiece, right? The globe and that whole thing and how it looks on film. I don't know how it looks actually being there. You can't see him, all you can see is the globe, but okay, it definitely makes for good optics. But I'm wondering if that's one of the reasons why there's so much showmanship and like minimizing him, so to speak, because I don't know who this is that we're looking at. I really don't. And as you can see, hold on.
Do you understand what Kanye West just did, right? Because
I'm gonna come back to her. As you can see in this image, this is a larger picture of Kanye on the right with Michelle Lamy. And then this is Michelle Lamy, Erykah Badu, and Travis Scott on the left. When she is in the process, when she is in the mix in the presence of Black celebrities, they always acclimate towards her. They're always energetic. Their resonance, their energy is always being minimized in her presence. So she would be the spiritual madam or the spiritual priestess in these relationships. You can just look at how they're mirroring her energy opposed to them bringing the energy up or them being the commanding presence in the room. Look at Erykah Badu. I just saw some pictures of her with Lauryn Hill that I thought were really beautiful, right? But Miss Badu is playing on a different level with some different types of energy and different types of frequencies. And this is just one of many images where she's with this chick where I'm like, yeah, this makes absolutely no sense. How you gonna be a goddess of light or a priestess of light, and you've been claiming that and representing that in your shows and your music and in your film and in all of this content, but then you get around this dark priestess and your energy acclimates towards hers. So this is one of those rings that a lot of these celebrities have to kiss in order to stay in the good graces or in the know.
You do understand what Kanye West just did, right? Because I actually think that we're underreporting and overlooking exactly what's gone on here. Think about it, after years of controversy, commercial fallout, and people assuming that his ability to command stadiums was finished. Yeah, he sold out 2 shows at SoFi Stadium in LA. I think he grossed like $33 million there. One of those concerts drew like 70,000 people. And then, if that weren't enough, he took the demand international. In Istanbul, he performed to 118,000 people from Britain, Germany, France, Netherlands, Italy, Russia, Poland, and across the Middle East. They all traveled to see him. And then he did something even more unexpected, and he went to Albania, where a temporary venue was constructed specifically for his concert. I don't want us to play that down. And think about this. It weren't London, New York, Chicago, Paris. This wasn't a normal global destination where you expect an American rapper to attract tens of thousands of people from around the world. Like, honestly, I feel like the Albanian government got it right. They were like, bro, we're going to spend 4 million euros to help secure the event because we think it could generate like 25,000 foreign visitors from like 80 countries. It projected that the concert would generate at least 100 million euros through things like accommodation, transport, restaurants, and the wider tourism spending. The use of public money was controversial, don't get it twisted. But the strategy was actually quite clear. Albania was treating culture as an economic asset. We spend so much time talking about infrastructures being roads, ports, and airports, and that's true, they are. But culture is infrastructure too. But only if it can move people across borders into your economy and get them spending. It becomes an export. And this is the real business lesson before everything else, right? Is that gatekeepers don't always control demand. Institutions can reject you while the market continues choosing you, because businesses often mistake that institutional approval is also consumer demand, but they're not the same thing. Demand is ultimately measured by people willing to spend, not simply what they say online. You know, people be bluffing. Ye proved that his audience was not only still there, it was willing to travel across countries and sometimes continents to spend money around the experience. Albania understood the other side of the equation. If the economic activity generated by the event outweighed the public investment, then this wasn't simply a concert subsidy. It was tourism and nation building, and it was also a branding investment. The product wasn't just music, the product was attention, and the concert was the mechanism
through which that attention was going to be monetized. This isn't really a story about Kanye. It's a story about how cultural influence actually translates into economic value when traditional distribution channels close. People who still have demand can build new ones. Anyway, let's talk in the comments. What are your thoughts?
So I agree with most of what she said. I think the point that I'm making about Kanye, I'm going to make that point because it extends just beyond the money aspect. But in terms of the business, she said the culture being used as an economic asset, right? And she's talking about, you know, what that type of event and that level of event and entertainment brought to the economic system of Albania, which is a beautiful thing, right? It would be, and it could be beautiful if that could happen in Chicago. And then people will say, oh, well, they'll never allow it in Chicago because the whites have this and that. Okay, well, then there are other ways. Like if you make 33 million in Chicago, in Albania, could you take like 7 million of that and put it back into Chicago? And again, it's the here's the point I really want to make, right? Let me just not get too ahead of myself. This is great for Kanye on financial, as far as financially concerned. This is a win for him, right? She said 33 million in one concert. I can imagine what the numbers were in Albania, even though I just showed he was in the show there, the one where he sold 118,000 tickets with a priestess of darkness. She's not coming around unless she's collecting souls. She's not in any vicinity unless there are souls to be harnessed and energy to be harnessed, and you know what I mean? So she was present. So that definitely had something to do with what was going on there, but that's not the point I want to make. Can Kanye do this type of event in a Black nation? In a country in Africa? In a country in South America? There's plenty of, you know, what we would call melanated or black skinned, dark skinned people in South America, predominant, you know, millions and millions of us, right? Can you do this in an area where it is not just beneficial to a white economy, a white local economy? Because remember, in Albania, shit's hitting the fan right now. Those people are up in arms about Jared Kushner and them trying to invest in that land and whatnot. Like, they've had mad protesting and real shit going on. So the economic benefit was for sure from the other people coming in and spending money, but like the people there are fired up. Right? I don't think they're really on no entertainment type of time, right? So looking at the benefit of what happened, Kanye's money, right? I see that. I'm here for that. I love that. It's beautiful for Kanye, right? The flip side to this is that, going back to Black Dot's point, because it was critical, Kanye can't get his avatar back. So when I see him in these images, when I see him in these different videos, when I see him in this content,
talking about the bondage because you're going to convince.
I do not see Kanye. Hold on. I don't see Kanye. The image on the left is one that I've been showing since forever because I don't know who that is. But that, you know what I mean? Like, just that whole situation, that the humiliation ritual aspect of this is 90 going north. Again, on the right, you see Michelle Lamming in the picture with her husband, with Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. He's not dressed weird, but he definitely looks vacant in the eyes, which he has a tendency to do a lot. I think that Kanye, like young Pharaoh, different mediums, probably different, you know, levels, of course, but like that look in their eyes, that look in their face, that sexual MK Ultra energy that I'm talking about. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second with Kanye West and the Daphne Joy Diddy situation. But let me let this video play.
Because, you know, I think that not wearing certain brands is not going to solve trafficking.
You're talking about Balenciaga.
It's deeper than a logo on a brand. It just so happens that, you know, Balenciaga is being called out, but I'm saying let's call that out. Let's call everything out. Yes. Let's call it all out. Let's call it all out, baby. That's what we got to do. Call it all out and get it all out in the light. Everybody should.
Yeah, call it out. Let's start with Balenciaga. You notice when all that stuff was happening with them, none of these celebrities were calling them out. And we're talking about potentially being linked to, essaying children. Remember during the Me Too movement when all of those female celebrities, black, white, everything started coming out talking about their experiences, but none of them talked about the fact that this was happening to children all the time and still won't talk about it.
Because while Kanye was performing with Travis Scott on stage, fans realized Kanye West looks nothing like the Kanye everyone remembers from before. And when fans got a closer look of the new Kanye, they noticed that he was missing tattoos on places that he previously had them. He quickly then covered his face on stage while Travis Scott gave a speech. If you think Kanye was cloned, subscribe.
So here's the thing, because I saw this footage floating around at the time when this was happening. Thank you so much, Dylan. I appreciate the Cash App and for the support. When I saw this video that was trending, right, I don't know if this is AI or not. And the fact that the imagery is far and blurry, that's always a sign to me. But this was happening at a time where Kanye was wearing the masks, where Kanye was like trying to do this whole anonymous, indescript thing. And there's a lot of footage and imagery of him that do not look like him. My members know I've been talking about this for like 2 years now, and I've been showing these images like, does this look like him to y'all? Does this look like him to y'all? Body double? I don't know. MK Ultra for sure. Remember in the Diddy trial, right? Rumors circulated online alleging that Kanye West and Bianca Censori were connected to Daphne Joy during an alleged meetup in Los Angeles, which is 50 Cent's baby's mother. Speculation peaked when reports surfaced that Kanye and Bianca briefly appeared outside the courthouse during the high-profile legal proceedings. None of the parties, including Kanye West, Daphne, or their respective representatives, have officially confirmed the validity of these intersecting rumors or courthouse appearance claims. Basically, what she said is that she went into a hotel room Kanye and Bianca's hotel room, and that he saw another high-profile rapper having sex with Bianca in front of Kanye and 6 or 7 other high-profile celebrities. And the same day she said that, Kanye West showed up at court. So again, I'm looking all of this and I see this, the MK Ultra sexual control element. The MK Ultra sexual control element, and even a lot of stuff that he's put in his music over the last years. Remember in 2025, the whole Nazi movement thing? When he was wearing the Nazi t-shirts, this is a program. We're looking at this and thinking that Kanye is trying to make some sort of underhanded, finger to the system, which is crazy, because if you're going to be under this level of attack and deal with this level of ostracism, and why don't you do something to make that shit count? Something that actually matters. None of this matters. You tweeting and saying I'm a Nazi doesn't mean anything to anybody. You wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt doesn't mean anything to anybody. None of this shit's moving the needle. And I'm saying this recognizing that I do not think that this is Kanye West. I don't. Now, this is the thing that kills me, right? Because even though these are celebrities, I know these are still human beings. But what I do know when I look at, I see our people, and we're celebrating, yeah, Kanye just made 80 million. Kanye just made this. Kanye just made that, right? But we don't have the spiritual discernment and awareness to see that this man is fighting for his soul. He's not free. What is $33 million to somebody whose soul is in torment and who is imprisoned in the confines of their own lives? Not imprisoned in your house, imprisoned in your life. meaning you have the finances and resources to go wherever you want and to do whatever you want to do, and you're still not free. How do we know that there's something else going on a spiritual level? Because Northwest is now up energetically on the auction block. How do we know? Because see no hear evil, speak no evil, hear no evil. This is the symbolism. This concert has been canceled, but as soon as I saw this, I was like, yeah, they got their claws in her. Where are her parents? This girl is 13 years old. Do we really love Kanye West? Do we care? You know what I'm saying? Like, or are we just happy that he made $33 million on a show?
With me, and I want the older folks, millennials and above, okay? And I went to another video on his page just to double check before I tell y'all what I see. Let's see if we see it again. Let's see if y'all see it with me. And I used to fish when I was a little girl. You gotta be real quiet on the creek. Yeah, I saw it. This is why I said us older millennials and above, we've all seen this growing up. I think some of our grandparents probably had this in their motherfucking house. But did we actually understand what this meant, what the proverb meant? Now, we're going to break this down because our grandparents had the original traditional meaning, moral purity. Don't say nothing mean, don't be mean, be mindful of your speech. But the modern Western interpretation has changed. It's ignorance by choice. People like looking the other way. It's avoiding accountability, it's avoiding responsibility, and it's choosing not to witness, listen to, or talk about bad things or wrong things. It was famously symbolized by the monkeys covering the eyes, the ears, and the mouth. See, they're all doing it. Am I looking too far into this, y'all? I tell myself, my logical mind says, you're probably looking into it a little bit, Carlos. My spiritual mind says, nigga, you are on. My spiritual ancestor said, nigga, you are on track. Use is wise. Use is good.
It's time to come to a realization, y'all, that quiet on the creek, as quiet as it's kept, these people have false lights. And once again, to the Black community, this is what happens when you allow people to rise up in our community that don't even deserve it because you think they carrying a fire flame when that flame is false light. Second of all, to make even a comment as to even kids want to have smacks with you, saucy. That's weird, bro. You allow these quote-unquote false light people to continue to get on live and be agents of chaos.
Y'all talking about LGBTQ and all this. Look what happened to this brother, man. This is how you produce your best LGBTQ from molestation. Some grown man assaulting this child. And listen, and I mean the psychological pain this cat must go through, knowing what happened to him, and in his victimness, trying to perform in the victimness, like to try to perform in it is a vile, horrible thing. Esau is putting money behind it, which means everybody wants success, right or wrong. So you want success, and now Esau make you successful in the pain, in the evil that's been done to you. There's so many.
Making you successful in the pain. That's a perfect representation of what I was talking about in Kanye West. When your soul is in that level of torment, that money don't mean shit. And so do we really care about these people is the question. It's a hypothetical question, but it's like you see somebody spazzing out, you see somebody spinning out, you see somebody's child is out here potentially in a dangerous situation, and the only thing we can clap for and cheer for is the financial gain. We're missing the bigger picture. And if we can miss it with celebrities, with the amount of time and attention that Black people give celebrities, then we can damn sure miss it in our own neighborhoods and in our own households. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. The image on the left is the monkeys is the one that they usually use. I have a whole tab in my membership channel called See No Evil, Spirit, Hear No Evil, Speak No Evil. It's all about quote unquote conspiracy. There's like 100 videos in there. So this symbolism that we see North and this girl that she was supposed to be going on tour with, which they canceled it because they probably didn't sell any tickets, because what are we buying here? You just send your daughter on tour, the concept of nepotism, like, yeah, but you know what I mean? Nepotism can get you in the door, but it can't keep you there. And this girl is too young anyway to be traveling around and touring on her own. I saw so many weird images of her when she was out amongst the public, the projection of energy towards her. I would never have my child at 13 years old actively around random strangers like that. No way in the world. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Northwest is being put up right now, and it's not like an intentional thing like, all right, we decided now we getting ready to put her out there for the wolves. This is the conveyor belt process of how Hollywood works. It's if you want the fame, if you want the attention, if you want your child to be a star and to be a celebrity. And Kanye West, knowing how evil and how wicked that industry is, and he's still actively pushing her out there.
Like, Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucien and Universal. Wow. He's like, like, man, my daddy got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, my daddy controlled the spins. My daddy got the DSPs. My daddy, Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucien.
So all of his streams and the number ones is controlled by someone named Lucien.
So who is Michelle Lamy? Yeezy. Yes, Lefty X. I just saw your email. Yes, if you're still watching. I'll respond to you by email later, but what you asked me, if you can do that, yes, I will accept that offer. And just send me the confirmation and then I'll email you the link to my calendar. Who is she talking about? He's talking about Lucien Grange. Who is Michelle Lamy? What is the correlation? What is the relationship? The thing that I wanted to say, and I don't know if I said it in the video of him talking about I'm a Nazi and wearing the swastika, this is a part of Kanye's programming now. They use him when they want to make anti-Semitism trend. That is his primary role right now, along with, the other layers and ways that they use him, along with him still, being who he is and making music and touring when it's actually him. But they are using him to, when they need for anti-Semitism to trend.
If you say anything, then you lose everything. If you say anything, then you lose everything.
These secrets they not finna be a secret no more. Like if somebody tells me something, it's like, yo, I want to tell you this, but it's a secret. I'm like, I'm not your personal hard drive. Like if you want to be a secret, don't tell me. I'm not here to keep nobody's secrets. It's only the truth that's gonna set us free.
And this truth is going to be heard. They want to monetize and traumatize. And God loved me.
That video when you can see Kanye's eyes, his eyes are so clear. You can see, I saw his soul in that video. That's why I root for him, because he's one of those people who with such a powerful soul and such like a rebellious spirit. I can relate to him so much that you can always kind of see him fighting for himself. He's fighting for his soul. But again, like Black Dot said, they can't get their avatars back. And that's a hell of a thing.
Niggas love everything that hate them. Now, before I start venting, I would like to mention that I too am a victim to the symptoms of the sickness. Because I love hip hop at its essence, but yet I wonder, are we the only people that be dancing to death? Like we really party to it. The radio be like blah, 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 even when we barbecuing. Like, let a nigga try me. I'ma get his whole motherfucking family. And I ain't playing with nobody. Fuck around and I'ma catch a body.
The vibration is extra low, but it's catchy though. I don't know how the high it makes me feel will affect my soul, but shit, this the shit we dance to. Ride around and jam to. Other folks be like, wow, look how happy it makes them. Cause niggas love everything that hate them. Goodness gracious. Mobster movies, our favorite. Goodfellas, Sopranos, Casino, you name it. Remember in Godfather at the Five Family Banquet? Don Zulichi pitched an idea everybody seemed to be okay with. He said, I want to keep the drug game respectable. I don't want it sold near children. I don't want it sold near schools. That's an infamia. In my city, we will traffic through the dark people, the coloreds. They're animals anyway, so what if they lose their souls? Now that's foul, but I get it. The mob was preying on the desperate. But that's capitalism. They were hacking the system. As a family, real hustlers. But that ain't enough to name my shit after them racist motherfuckers. Hollow the Don, Yo Gotti, Math Hoffa. Even Sauce Walker got an album called The Sauce Father. Because we pledge allegiance to the grind. We can't knock the hustle. Even hustles that we ain't in. Or maybe because niggas love everything that hate them. Because wasn't nothing made for them. We get overcharged for Mercedes-Benz because it ain't supposed to match our shade of skin. This is stuff that you could look up. Ain't made up shit. Jay-Z promoted Cristal for free. And they told him that he should quit because they didn't want their product to be promoted by a person by the likes of him. And these are the brands that we break the bank to get? That's crazy. That's like a group of people, right? Being denied entry to a club. Instead of just let them, they demand to be let in to spend money with people who don't even respect them. And that shit's crazy. Like the prices of them Italian purses and wallets. I shouldn't even have to tell you. You see how they do their own black people in soccer, but y'all know we don't love soccer, so I'm gonna just stop. But they did Jim Jones dirty at the Gucci store in New York. Lupe and Pharrell get treated like literal niggers in Paris at Goyard. They even dissed Oprah at the Louis store in Rome, yo. Lets you know how they really feel about us. And none of them are even a big deal without us. Either way, we rock their shit and make a big deal about it. It's like...
That's a level of, when it comes to energy harnessing, what he's talking about, dancing to death. Before we were talking about sexual energy and how feeding off of low vibrational sexual energy feeds the beast, right? Feeds the demon, feeds the, these lower vibrational entities, what we would call demonic possession, right? So that's in a sexual capacity. We talked about the root chakra and the unbalanced root chakra. We actually didn't talk about that. I started reading. Did I even finish reading that part? I didn't. I read the top part and I didn't finish the bottom. Balanced energy in the root chakra can be demonstrated by vitality, physical fitness, manifestation, and goals. This is from my Keys to Womanhood workbook. Imagine if all of our daughters had this information at 15. Manifestation of goals, ambition, and drive, grounding in your ancestry, knowing your roots, strong connection to nature, an imbalance in this chakra, meaning the root chakra, where the sexual energy is harnessed and expressed. Venereal urinary tract or processed diseases, drug addiction, depression, anger, rage, violence, denial of heritage, not having basic necessities or needs met, alcohol, drugs, chaos in your life, chaos in your mind, chaos in your heart, fibroids, tumors in the womb area, constant pain in the womb area. Women hold trauma, sexual trauma in the womb area. Women hold emotional trauma in the womb area, which is where the root chakra is. And this is where where the portal where life comes through. So this is a very critical thing. Not just physical life. I got you. I got I got your email address too. I got you. It's all good. So dancing to death, the culture around it, right? Now, when I was listening to him, I was thinking, because Albanians aren't typically pro-black. I don't want to just call out a whole nation of people and say they're racist, or because I don't know enough Albanians to be able to make that claim. But I do know that there is a perception or a reputation that Albanians tend to not like black people, Maybe that's just in America. Maybe that's not the case over there. I don't know. It would have been really powerful in looking at the perception and how these other cultures and nationalities perceived us. If Kanye would take the ability to sell out 118,000 in Europe and find a way to make that shit mean something and matter in the bigger picture of our culture. And that's the point that I'm emphasizing in this video. And then the next one, when I talk about Jay-Z and these other aspects in celebrity culture, this is a one-way transmission where we are mostly giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. And okay, you did a concert and put on a good show, so that's a mutual transaction, right? Even though I'm not paying $5,000 to sit front row and to see you standing on a big ass bubble where I can't even see you. I'd rather just watch the show from home, but that's not the point. Energy harnessing. He said, monetizing trauma. Kanye West said that. Monetizing trauma. Now tell me that situation with Perez Hilton wasn't a perfect example of monetizing trauma.
$100 million, you can have my soul.
That's you. Now we know you're a character.
I always say everything got a price. Because people say, like, I love my dog. I get $100. No, I get $1,000. No, I get $100,000. Hey, you can have it. Like, my thought is everything has a price. There is not a number that can get you back in that ring. 80 million, 100 million.
Nah, because now you selling your soul.
$100 million, you can have my soul.
That's you. Now we know you're a character. Sometimes, you look at people and you be like, dang, man, you ain't got no dignity. You ain't got no morals. Like, come on, man. Like, what you gonna stand for if everything is about money? Like, I never was in a sport because of money. Of course, I was in a sport to make money, but I wanted to be a world champion.
$100 million.
So now, he got humbled real quick, right? He said, when you are lacking in integrity and in morals, right? And this is where the fork in the road, where a lot of people in the celebrity world, go right instead of going left. This is why Kanye West said that they sacrificed his mother, right? Which means that took place at the because of his decisions and his choices. He said that, right? And so you think about now Sunday services, but then you think about this man parading his wife around half naked and having her in a room full of 50 men, and she's practically probably the only white person in there, and she's butt ass naked. Do I think that that's Kanye's decision? No, I think she's his handler. But the perception is that it's Kanye's decision. And then you got this woman on stage, talking about the fact that him and his wife are getting down with big time Black celebrities, and these are the people that we look up to. These are the people making the culture and the movement and the perception of how other people around the world are seeing us. And then you can go, and if Albania invested $4 million in that stadium to make that happen, imagine how much money they made. If they invested $4 million, is it far-fetched to think they made 50? Can you go and repeat that process in an African nation or in a predominantly Black or melanated nation? That's power.
You can choose to be a fool or to be wise. You can choose to be a god or to be a demon. Demos simply means spirit. That doesn't mean good spirit or bad spirit. That means spirit. You choose to do what is right, or you choose to do what's wrong, but you're still Demos either way. In other words, the demon is in the church doing right or wrong, but he in there both ways. And as I had recalled to yesterday, you can't get away from the law of duality. That's why I drew the pyramid and put the G and the E on the left and the right and the P on top. The GPE is a Masonic insignia of code. The Great Pyramid of Egypt. But the esoteric of it, of course, is G is good, E is evil, and P is perfect. If you want to get out of the law of duality, because you can't destroy it, it ain't going nowhere. In other words, Jesus and his brother, Seth, Satan, Horus and Seth, and esoteric are not essentially about good and evil, but the law of duality. That there's a glyph of one kinetic body and two heads on the same damn body. One is Horus, the other is Seth. And Jesus is recorded as telling Satan, he didn't say, go away and never come back again. Get thee behind me. And if the good Lord, the good law, guides the negative Lord and the negative law, then right will get done.
So he dropped some real jewels there. He talked about the choice, right? This is why you get to choose on a day-to-day basis, and this is the fork in the road where a lot of people in this industry, they choose, right? They choose this whatever the level of sacrifice. And by the way, it's not always a sacrifice. Sometimes it's just the humiliation. Sometimes it's just showing the world the power that you don't have. Right? There's levels to power. These people play at a very high level. And so, remember the video of Jay-Z and Weinstein, which I'm going to show when I do the episode 79, where he's on the red carpet and they asked Jay-Z something. I think it was about maybe the Nets deal or something like that. And he looked at Harvey Weinstein, and Harvey Weinstein shut that shit down. He almost looked at Harvey Weinstein like he was looking for permission to speak. Right? So when we talk about the levels of humiliation, like, yeah, you can go to Albania and sell 118,000 tickets, but you can't create a manufacturing industry in Chicago to help your people and to manufacture your own clothes.
His life rights.
I would like to purchase his life rights. Not to be petty, but I think that's good business.
It would be a great business move.
Like I'm especially interested in the Rockefeller movie because of what you just said. They said it's a lot of footage, right?
Yeah.
That's history. Like a lot of content can be created around that. So I'm intrigued.
His life as well, the way he started and him hustling and him, creating Rockefeller with Jay and Biggs and all the things that they went to, created Rock Nation. I mean, not Rock Nation. Rockefeller Records, what's the Rockaware, and finding Kanye West. Yeah, that would be hella interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I already know a lot of people would be interested. Like I know Cameron would be interested in buying it with us. So I'm gonna make a serious inquiry about that. I am interested in purchasing the OG story.
I'm sure 50 would.
Well, Dame Dash responded to this report.
I do want to make a serious inquiry.
If you make an inquiry, don't say Envy, throw me some bread.
No, I do. I'm making a serious inquiry about purchasing his life rights. I am interested in purchasing the OG story.
I got a couple dollars.
It would be more than that. It'll be the real OG story.
So I'm going to go more into this in the next episode because I had to trim this down. I'm almost done. And I thank you guys for rocking with me, for listening to this point. I had a lot of bases to cover. I'm going to talk about Charlemagne more in the Jay-Z video that I do. So I'm just going to touch on this briefly. Charlemagne sounds like a slave master. He sounds like he been hanging around them small hats too much. And I know in his world and in their bubble, the way that they're talking, the way that they're flexing, him and DJ Envy, like y'all sound like y'all saying something. You guys sound real cool in your world. But in the bigger picture, to the average person, you sound like a small hat. Talking about buying the rights, the life rights to somebody's story. And I have clips from Dame Dash where he responded to this and was super eloquent. For all of Dame Dash's, semantics and all of the extra shit that he's been doing lately, you can definitely depend on him to drop jewels. And he responded to this and made so much sense. And when I do the video, that separate video, I'm going to show that. But this just rubbed me so the wrong way. Charlemagne the God has a background in gossip and entertainment, and he has currently a $200 million contract with iHeartRadio. We can see the people who these people are promoting and why they're promoting, and the connection to Jay-Z and Rock Nation. I'm not going to get into all of that right now because I have done a lot of talking in this conversation, but he did sign a 5-year, $200 million contract extension with iHeartMedia. Again, I'll get into that in the next video. If you're just now tuning in, please make sure you guys like this video. I always feel like if there's 200 people watching and you guys are getting value and benefit from the message, I should have 200 likes, right? So if you're watching me live now and you are, taking in the information and content and being able to find some sort of value, hopefully in this content, like the video. Also, all love, all reciprocity is greatly appreciated. Those of you guys who sent super stickers and the cash apps that I got, I'm going to send you guys the link to be able to watch this full video on demand. It'll be available in my membership channel as well as in my YouTube channel. This full 2-hour and it looks like about 30-minute presentation. So Jay-Z sold out Yankee Stadium. The price resale soared past $12,000. Let me read this. I'm going to skim through this, but I have a whole separate video that I'm going to do on Jay-Z, maybe tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be on YouTube. It'll definitely be on my membership channel. But I need to woosah from this video because this is a lot. Jay-Z completely sold out his historic multi-night Yankee Stadium run in July 2026, breaking attendance records. Initial resale prices soared past $12,000 for choice spots and sat above 300 to 400 early on, but dropped significantly to under $200 right before the shows. Now, Live Nation had a lawsuit that they were found liable for. Jury finds concert giant Live Nation acted as an illegal monopoly. A lot of them people don't know, but Rock Nation and Live Nation are a partner. They're in partnership in business, right? And so Jay-Z, I'm not even going to get into all of this because I'll start down this road. I only left like 2 or 3 of the I have like 20 some odd not screenshots, but slides just for Jay-Z. So I'm not even going to talk about any of this right now. I'm going to keep that separate and do a separate video. I'm also going to move past LeBron James because I think that particular conversation about LeBron James is very relative to Jay-Z, especially when it comes to the Black Boule. So just to kind of hone in and emphasize the stuff that we talked about, the Perez Hilton celebrity culture, influencer culture, the way that these people are losing their shit. The brother in the video talked about the law of duality. This is what I want to say. I'm glad I remembered this. He talked about the law of duality. And so this transgender representation and acceptance and promotion that we are seeing right now is really a spiritual war on a spiritual level to move us away from duality and into what they think is going to be possible as far as a singularity, right? Meaning not having man or woman, male or female, not having the need for the family dynamic, just having these automaton AI-based beings that are part human and that are part AI, but don't have the original, authentic needs of human beings, so to speak, right? So the law of duality is what they're at war with. One of the things that they're at war with. And this is, when we look at young Pharaoh and the footage that we showed of him, we see an original masculine man with a warrior spirit. Let me bring myself up here. We see an originally masculine man with a warrior spirit with a high level of intellectual capacity who is now showing very feminine tendencies, right? Perez Hilton, Sydney Starr, what do they all have in common? Alleged transgenders or something to that effect. I had 2 videos of trans dolls that are now being promoted to children. I forgot to actually upload those videos. It's in my notes. It's just what made me think about it. Right. And so now we have this ongoing perversion of anything goes, what do what thou wilt. Aleister Crowley, one of, the people that Jay-Z, at least in word, looked up to. Why you would ever look up to somebody like that, I don't know. powerful in the world of darkness, a peon in the world of God. Right? But when you start rubbing elbows with Marina Abramovich and Michelle Lamy and these type of people, where you can see this dark aura, this dark spirit, this dark energy, and then you can understand why you can be a billionaire and come from a place called Marcy Projects and have all of that money and have all that influence and have all of that access and not use any of it to help your people. Especially, like I said in the previous video, if you sold crack cocaine, or if you sell, or if you have sold any type of drugs, even if it was prescription pills, ecstasy pills, fentanyl, if you in the Black community and Black culture over an extended period of time sold drugs to your people, your community, you absolutely owe a debt, especially if you made millions off of music, magnifying and glorizing that same thing. There's, the devil is always coming to collect, so is God. That concept of to whom much is given, much is expected. Yeah, this is how this shit, the balance has to be there. The laws of duality has to be there. And respecting the divine feminine. And every time you get out of alignment with the divine feminine, guess what happens? Polite. Guess what happens, nature boy? Guess what happens, young Pharaoh? And it ain't just the men. It's all of the women who are aligned with you as well. Way past this being gender-based. Every fool that lined up for that bullshit you were selling, in the name of consciousness, in the name of God, in the name of love, in the name of the Black woman is God, the sexual energy, the sexual depravity is how they get in. One of the ways they get in. So, the humiliation ritual is not always sacrifice. Sometimes it's showing the world the power you don't have. When Oprah Winfrey and The Rock were in Hawaii and that fire took place and they stood up there and all those people were suffering and they got acres and acres and hundreds and thousands of acres of land and everything has been reduced to ash. And you have the audacity to say, yeah, I'll put up 10 million if you'll put up 10 million. And you got land and unlimited resources. That was a humiliation ritual. That was showing people the power they don't have. Jay-Z and Weinstein. I got a video of Jay-Z too when he talks about, they asked him about Kobe Bryant right when he transitioned. And the first thing that came out of his mouth is, he really looked up to me. Okay, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this conversation. We talked about a lot. I talked about a lot, and I split the presentation in half. If you want to watch this full video, the replay of this video, I was going to leave it up, but I've decided I'm going to put this on my membership channel. If you want to watch the full video, just go to my website, zazaali.com, and you can get information on how to access it there, my on-demand videos. I'll probably post something. I'll post some clips of this for sure, and then I'll give you information on how to watch the whole thing. Those of you guys who sent super chats and the cash apps that I received, if you send me a screenshot with your email address, I will send you the link to watch this one and the next episode in their entirety. And the information is in the description to sign up for an annual pass to my membership channel. 50% off one-on-one consultations, which I will no longer be offering after August of 2026. That service is being ended. And I have enjoyed this conversation tremendously. Peace and love to everybody in the chat room. Thank you guys so much for your time, energy, and attention. And I will see you beautiful people very soon. Peace and love.